Growing up as a Chinese millennial, I believed in one simple idea. If I worked hard enough, life would keep getting better. And for a long time, it really seemed to work. I studied hard, built a career, became a self-management coach, and helped thousands of people improve their lives. But at 33, I walked away from the career I had spent more than a decade building and came to YouTube to start over. So, how did I get here? To answer that, I have to take you back to the China I grew up in, because as China changed, the path I believed in changed too. My name is Chen Chen. I was born in 1993 in Yining, Xinjiang, in Western China. I grew up during a time when China was developing very quickly. My parents worked hard and our lives slowly changed. We moved from country town to an apartment in the city. For the first time, we had a washing machine and a refrigerator at home. Life will keep getting better. That was a belief I grew up with. And I worked hard too. In 2011, I traveled more than 4,000 kilometers alone from Xinjiang to Fujian to start my university life. While I was in college, books about self-improvement like The Willpower Instinct became very popular in China. At that time, many young people believed if we could become a better version of ourselves, we could take control of our lives. I was fascinated by this idea, so I started studying time management, goal setting, and personal growth. I didn't only want to change myself, I wanted to share these ideas with other people. During the summer of my second year in college, I started an online magazine called Now. The name means the best time is now, and eventually gained more than 400 email subscribers. After graduation in 2015, I moved to Shanghai and joined a well-known training company in China, became a certified internal trainer, and started teaching corporate clients. After one of my classes, a young woman sent me a message on social media. She said, "After graduating, I stopped reading books. But after taking your class, I started reading again during my subway commute this week, and I actually finished a book. Thank you for making me believe I can keep learning." At that moment, I thought, I didn't just want to complete a job, I wanted to help people change their lives. During the Chinese New Year holiday in 2020, the COVID-19 outbreak had just begun, and many people in China were staying at home. One day, a friend reached out to me. He said, "I have been staying at home for so long, and my life has completely lost its rhythm. Can you share how you keep yourself in a good state?" So I hosted a live stream. But after the live stream, many people asked for a more systematic method. So I created a 21-day self-management training program. The price was 99 RMB. I shared my payment QR code. That night, I was sitting on the sofa with my parents, watching TV together. My phone kept making notification sounds. 30 people signed up in one night. I was holding my phone excitedly, and my parents looked at me and laughed. At that time, the online education industry in China was growing very quickly. I thought, maybe this is my opportunity. So I decided to start my own business. At the beginning, everything looked promising. I had already tested my business model and I had my first group of paying customers. But later, I learned an important lesson. Making money from a project and building a sustainable business are two completely different things. My team was small, our resources were limited. At one point, my editor asked for a raise, but at that time, we were under a lot of financial pressure, and I couldn't afford it, so I decided to leave. And the very next day, we were supposed to release a new course video. That night, I had no choice but to edit the video myself. I sat alone in front of my computer and worked until midnight. Then I woke up at 4:30 in the morning, put on makeup for the live stream, and walked to the office. It was close to 0 degrees in Shanghai. At 6 a.m., I started a 4-hour live stream. After that, I continued working on other tasks until 9 p.m. Later, to save money, I only hired one online community assistant, and I became an entire team by myself. I created courses, I filmed videos, I did live streams, I graded homework, I was working 12 hours or more every day. The most ironic thing was, I told my students, sleep, meals, rest, and time with your family should come first, but I couldn't actually do it myself. Eventually, my body started sending me warning signs. My neck and low back problems became worse. My fingers even became numb. Some nights, my whole body hurt so much that I couldn't sleep. On one hand, I was teaching people to take care of themselves. On the other hand, I realized I was living in a way that could never last. During this time, I also started thinking more deeply about my courses. Some students really changed, but there were also some people who signed up for my courses and never even opened it. But later, I understood. People are not only buying a course, they are buying the hope that they can become a better version of themselves. What I could do was provide some ideas and tools, but I could not change their lives for them. Day after day, I kept going. Eventually, the project became stable and started making a small profit. I originally thought if I could make the course better and help more people, everything would continue to grow. But the reality was different. The environment had changed. It became harder and harder to attract new students. After the pandemic, China's economic environment did not recover as quickly as many people expected. Many companies struggled to fully recover. Many people had used up their savings and became much more careful about spending money. More and more people started realizing maybe life would not always improve as quickly as it did before. People's priorities were changing. In the past, many people wanted to learn how to grow themselves. But now, more people were asking, how can I increase my income? How can I find more security? So, I upgraded my courses one last time. And then, I decided to close this chapter of my life and return to the workplace. But after going back to work, the familiar path I once knew had also changed. The company I joined had been struggling financially for years. Competition in the industry became extremely intense. And a bigger change was coming: AI. Some of my friends started feeling the impact of AI and industry changes. Some faced salary cuts. Some found that their previous positions were disappearing. Feeling uncertain about the future, I started learning AI tools. I tried creating some AI videos and uploading them to YouTube. With only 23 videos, I gained 90 million views and 140,000 subscribers. But after the excitement faded, I quickly realized something. AI is becoming a more and more powerful tool for creating content, and I am actually just a user of that tool. If one day companies hire the best creators, use the most powerful AI models, and produce the highest quality AI content, then as an individual creator, what will make me different? Later, I found my answer. What truly belongs to me, it is my experience, my observations, my thoughts, my real story. AI can instantly create a perfect script, but it cannot understand what a real person has experienced or why they make certain choices. I wanted to use my own experience and my own voice to create something only I could make. And that is also why I chose YouTube, a place where I could focus on making content and let the content itself create value. I walked away from a dream I had spent more than 10 years chasing. I didn't see it as a failure. I see it as a choice I made in a changing world. And maybe that is something every generation has to do. And when I think about this, I often think about my father. In 1979, he was 18 years old. At that time, China had just restarted the National College entrance exam system. My father loved music. He made his own Erhu by hand, recorded himself playing it, and mailed the recording to Xi'an Conservatory of Music. This is a video of him playing the Erhu. You can see how much he enjoyed it. But he learned all of that by himself. He was not accepted at the time. and he never even knew whether the recording reached the school. Later, my father had to put that dream aside. He moved to Urumqi, where he pushed a small cart through the streets, selling garlic from his family's own fields, just to make a living. That was the path his life took. And when I look even further back, I can see more clearly where I came from. In the 1960s, my grandparents moved to Xinjiang, simply trying to survive. In the 1990s, my parents had little access to education, but they worked hard and built the first real assets our family had ever owned. And in the 2010s, I had the chance to go to university. Now I live here in Shanghai. I can see the Oriental Pearl Tower from my window. We have already come a very, very long way. Looking back at all of this, I still believe in hard work, but I understand it differently now. Every generation has its own challenges, but every generation also has its own opportunities. Maybe that is why, after all these years, I keep coming back to the name of that little magazine I started in college. The best time is still now, because this is our time, the time we have to live, to create, and to experience this life.